Vandeham Shri Guru Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsam.
Hare Krishna everyone, welcome back to yet another interesting episode of Pariprashna. So today happens to be the 34th episode of Pariprashna where we are systematically studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So the two chapters that we will try and complete today, quote unquote complete, is chapter 6 and 7 of Canto 2 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So chapter 6 is titled Purusha Sukta Confirmed, and then chapter 7 talks about the scheduled incarnations and their specific functions. But however, because there is quite a lot going on, let me give you a brief recap of what has happened until now. So in Canto 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the very last chapter, that is chapter number 19, Parikshit Maharaj has renounced everything, being cursed by a 7-year-old Brahmana boy on the bank of the Ganges. And he is inquiring from his spiritual master, Sukadeva Goswami. So the question that he asked is, what is the specific duty of a man who is about to die? He inquires about what should one hear, chant, and remember. So in answer to that, Canto 2 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami dedicates the first 3 chapters talking about various things. He talks about Ashtanga Yoga for neophytes and advanced devotees. He talks about Karma Kanda, rejects it. He talks about demigod worship and does not really recommend it. And towards the end, in a very emphatic way, he talks about the supremacy of Bhakti, the importance of worshipping the Supreme Lord Krishna. He says what we need to hear, chant, and remember is none other than the Supreme Lord Krishna. So then after that, chapter number 4 and 5, what we discussed in the previous episode. So chapter 4, Parikshit Maharaj says he expresses his gratitude to Sukadeva Goswami. He says that the Harikatha that he's sharing is dispelling his ignorance. And however, for the conversation to continue, Maharaj Parikshit asks about Krishna's pastimes in relation to his Maya Shakti and in relation to his Chit Shakti. Now that's quite intriguing. Instead of asking about Vrindavan, Dwaraka, Mathura pastimes, he wants to know about creation. And Sukadeva Goswami, very, very interesting. Instead of straight away starting to answer his questions, he offers heartfelt prayers unto the Supreme Lord. And that too in 15 shlokas, from shlokas 11 to 25. And then he also says, the question that you have asked, O Maharaja Parikshit, a similar conversation has already happened between Brahma and Narada, and let me quote that in answering your questions. So now chapters 5, 6, and 7, these 3 chapters, the subject matter is Brahma Narada Samvada. And in chapter 5, Narada Muni, he expresses his humility. He seeks answers to a bunch of questions that he's asking from his own father, Lord Brahma. And then he also places some of his doubts and convictions. And then Lord Brahma, again in a very, very humble way, he dispels the so-called doubts of Narada Muni. He says that he is not the original creator, he is the secondary creator. He talked about Karana Srishti, Kriya Srishti, he talks about the Purusha Avataras, and then towards the fag end of chapter number 5, he also talked about Virat Rupa. So in this chapter, chapter number 6, that is where we are going to continue from. The description of Virat Rupa is going to continue in a more elaborate way. So let us continue to inquire from His Holiness Bhakti Padma Saurav Pracharak Swami Maharaj. Let us draw some enlightenment and inspiration from his wonderful answers. So Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
So Maharaj, this chapter 6, is called Purusha Sukta Confirmed. So if you can please tell us what exactly is Purusha Sukta and why this chapter is called Purusha Sukta Confirmed.
There are many suktas in the Vedas glorifying the Supreme Lord. Of course, different deities also. And among those suktas, Purusha Sukta is the most famous one.
Okay.
And most potent one also, because it glorifies the Purusha avatars, especially the Garbhodhaksha Vishnu.
Okay.
And the Purusha Sukta starts with these mantras. Sahasra Sirsha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishwato Vrutva Atyatishtaddashangulam Purusha Evedam Sarvam Yadbhutam Yacha Bhavyam. Like that it goes.
Mhm.
So now Bhagavatam is the essence of all the Vedas. So since it is essence of all the Vedas, it should talk about Purusha Sukta too.
Okay.
But the verses in the Bhagavatam which is describing Purusha Sukta is meant for everyone. It can be chanted by everyone. Even if you chant them a little bit improperly, there is no harm in it. You'll get the complete benefit. Whereas the Vedic Sutras, especially when you're using it for yajna, then they should be chanted by a proper Brahmana who is trained in how to chant. So in this way, the Bhagavatam being the summary or essence of all the Vedic literatures, and definitely should talk about Purusha Sukta. And Purusha Sukta is a sukta where the Achintya Bheda Veda Tattva is been clearly spoken. Purusha Evedam Sarvam. You know, the whole world is Purusha himself, God himself. Yad Bhutam Yacha Bhavyam. Whatever has been created, what is going to be created, everything is God. At the same time, everything is different from God, because everything in this world is Krishna's energy. And he is situated Atyatishtaddasha Angulam. He is situated 10 angulas higher, is beyond this world. The Lord is this world, at the same time is beyond this world. How is it so? If he is this world, how can he be beyond? That means whatever you see in this world is energy of the Lord. So to establish this point, Para Asik Shakti Vivideva Shuyate, which is there in the Shveshashvatra Upanishad, that is exemplified by Purusha Sukta. Not exemplified, rather it is explained in Purusha Sukta. And that is what is explained in this particular chapter. So understand that how this world is God, is Krishna. At the same time, Krishna is beyond this world. He is transcendental to this world. So they to show that how everything in this world is Krishna's energy. Two kinds of energy. Para. Bhumirapolnoya kammano buddharevacha. Ahankar vityam me binna prakritishtata. Aparayam. This is called apara shakti. Anyam prakriti vidyame param. That is Jiva Shakti. So how Jiva Shakti is distinct from the Supreme Lord. And also how this Shakti, that is Apara Shakti, that is external energy, is also distinct from the Lord. At the same time, same. How? Because they are both energy. So that is why Advaita means non-difference. Non-difference is also there. At the same time, distinction is also there. That is called Achintya Bheda and Abheda Tattva, which is Achintya. It is beyond our human conception. So that's what is established in the Sutta, and that's what Bhagavatam, this chapter, talks about it.
Okay, wonderful. So Maharaj, in quite a lot of shlokas right in the beginning of chapter 6, about 17 to 18 verses, Lord Brahma is continuing to describe the Virat Rupa. So this Virat Rupa of the Lord, which you have already explained to us quite a few times that it is imaginary and also it is a material form of the Lord. So in Bhagavad Gita, we saw in chapter 11, and even here, chapter 1, Sukadeva Goswami talked about it. And chapter 5 and Brahma talked about it. Now again, chapter 6, he's talking about it. Again, Canto 3, when we get to that discussion, again, it's going to be revisited. So why is this discussion of Virat Rupa coming again and again, quite frequently? And also, even in this description, there are slight variations in the description. Like in one place, it is described the various varnas, how they describe, they correlate to the limbs of the Lord, like Brahmanas are the head, Kshatriyas are the arms, Vaishyas are the thighs, Shudras are the legs. And in another, the various planets, the 14 planets are compared to the limbs of the Lord. And in this particular chapter 6, the subtle sense organs and the gross sense organs of the Lord, they are described, correlated to the tanmatras, the elements and various things. So why all these different variations of Virat Rupa, and why such elaborate description coming so frequently?
So the last point, why the descriptions are coming so frequently, that is to establish that how whatever you find in this world, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahman, whatever you find in this world is nothing but energy of Krishna. At the same time, Krishna is transcendental. So to establish this point, it comes again and again.
Okay.
So when it comes again and again, there are two things in the Virat Rupa here. One is the material universal form of the Lord, and another one is the spiritual universal form of the Lord. The spiritual universal form of the Lord is the three Purushas: Karanadaksha Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu. So if you go to the first canto, third chapter, first 5 verses, they talk about the universal form of the Lord, or the spiritual universal form of the Lord. Jagrihe Paurusham Rupam. And then, after describing all the different forms of Krishna, all the 3 different, all the Leela avatars, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, 22 forms of the Lord are described. And after describing the 22 forms of the Lord, then there is a description of the material universal form of the Lord. And the material universal form of the Lord is of 2 kinds. Number 1 is subtle material universal form of the Lord. Number 2 is the gross universal form of the Lord. Gross material universal form of the Lord. In this way, there is a clear-cut distinction between the spiritual universal form, that is Purusha avatars, Karanadaksha Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu. And then the material universal form of the Lord, which is described as Etad Bhagavato Rupam hi Arupasya Chidatmanaha Maya Gunair Virachitam Mahadaji Viratmani. Maya Gunair Virachitam. That means it is material, Maya Gunair Virachitam. Etad Navasi Meghago, first canto, third chapter, 31st verse.
Okay.
So an example is given that how when the dust is rising in the sky, it seems to be blue, but the sky is not blue. So but you superimpose your material concept onto the sky. In the same way, there are these 2 material forms of the Lord, material universal forms of the Lord. That is not very much appreciated by the intelligent people. That is why it is said that in the 33rd verse, when somebody has a realization that he gives up these 2 forms, what is that? Gross and subtle universal forms. So at present, in the second canto, the third canto also, sometimes the spiritual universal form is described, sometimes the material universal form is described. The material universal form is shown by Krishna to Arjuna. And a glimpse of that material universal form, that is also shown by Krishna to Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana too. So there is no clear-cut distinction where what is being described. That is to us to understand where what is described. If the descriptions are of the Karanadaksha Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, that is spiritual. The description is that of not of this, with the universal form, that is material and temporary. That's what you understand.
Okay. So after an elaborate description of the Virat Rupa, then very nicely, Lord Brahma is describing to Narada, he's drawing parallels, he's contrasting between the material and spiritual creation of the Lord. He's calling material world Ekapada Vibhuti and spiritual world as Tripada Vibhuti. So he's going on to say, just maybe quote a couple of shlokas. 19th verse, chapter 6. पादेषु सर्वभूतानि पुंसस्थितिपदो विदुः अमृतं क्षेममभयं त्रिमूर्ध्नोधायि मूर्धसु. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is to be known as the supreme reservoir of all material opulences by the 1/4 of his energy in which all the living entities exist. Deathlessness, fearlessness, and freedom from the anxieties of old age and disease exist in the kingdom of God, which is beyond the 3 higher planetary systems and beyond the material coverings. पादास्त्रयो बहिश्चासन् अप्रजानाम्य आश्रमाः अन्तस्त्रिलोक्यास्त्वपरो गृहमेधोर्बृहद्व्रतः. The spiritual world, which consists of 3/4 of the Lord's energy, is situated beyond this material world, and it is especially meant for those who will never be reborn. Others who are attached to family life and who do not strictly follow celibacy vows must live within the three material worlds. So, like this, in the next few shlokas, also he will contrast. So, what is the significance of this particular section, Maharaj? Why is he contrasting between this Ekapada Vibhuti and Tripada Vibhuti?
As I told before, Purush Sukta talks about this. Padosya Vishwa Bhutani Tripadasyamritam Divi. So Padosya Vishwa Bhutani Tripadasya Amritam Divi. So there are two worlds, material world and spiritual world.
Mm-hmm.
So material world is called Ekapada Vibhuti and spiritual world is called Tripada Vibhuti. That is why Asya Padosya Vishwa Bhutani. So that material world, living entities are in the 1/4 of this world. And Tripada, some people may say that spiritual world only Krishna exists, nobody exists. No. In the spiritual world, 3 parts, there are also spiritual entities. And they are experiencing Amrita. They are experiencing bliss. There is no, what is the nature? Amritam, Kshemam, Abhayam, Trimurtho, Dhyati Murtishu. So what they are experiencing, Amritatva, eternity, and Kshemam, they are healthy, and there is no question of any distress for them. Abhayam, lack of fear. So these 3 are there. What is the lack of fear? Fear of committing offenses are not there in the spiritual world. They are fixed in the spiritual world. They are above the 3 gunas, murdhashu. They are pure, they are beyond the modes of material nature. So the whole purpose of our life is to go back to God, to the spiritual world. If you don't have a contrast, why at all you should desire to go to the spiritual world? And that's the reason you have these verses being described.
Okay. Now, why is he emphasizing the celibacy part? He's saying those who are householders will stay back in this 3 worlds, upper, middle, and lower, and only those who strictly keep the celibacy vows, they are qualified to go back home, back to Godhead. And Prabhupada also writes a brilliant purport to this.
So Purush Sukta again says that Tripad Urdhva Udait Purushaha Padosya Bhavat Punaha. The 3/4 portion of the Lord is transcendent to the middle portion. One portion is actually within which is in the spirit, in the material world. And Tripad Vibhuti means spiritual world, Ekavad Vibhuti means material world. So there are so many Puranas which talk about it. The distinction between the spiritual world and material world. Who can go there? So who can go there? Who have controlled their senses? See, it is not the question of grihasthas or brahmacharis.
Okay.
It is the question of one who has controlled the senses. One who has controlled the senses, they are qualified. And if you are not controlled the senses, then you are not qualified. So in this way, there are 2 vratas. Padastrayo bahischasam aprajanam yashrama antastrilokastaparo grihamedho abrihatvata. So there are 2 kinds of vratas. One is known as brihad vrata, other is known as abrihad vrata. So who are those people who go to brihad vrata? Who are those people? So those who are brahmacharis, sannyasis, and vanaprasthas who are following this thing, they'll definitely go to spiritual because they are accepting this brahmacharya. Now, Srila Prabhupada said that in our movement, or even the grihasthas, they are grihastha sannyasis. So ultimately what matters is you controlling the senses. If you're a sannyasi, if you're not controlling the senses, then it is, you cannot go just because you're in a sannyasa ashram. Just because you're not married, that doesn't make you a sannyasi. And just because you're married, that doesn't make you a sense enjoyer. So it's all individual. It's all you are depending on your sadhana and depending on your this thing. So that is what it is. Ultimately, the essential principle is not grahasthas don't go and other ashramas go. It is about brihad vratas. Those who have taken the vrata of control of senses, they will go. Those who are not taken, they will not go to the spiritual world.
Very nice, very clearly explained. So now in the next section, that is shlokas 23 to 30. So Brahma is giving his own life as a testimony to explain that how the Supreme Lord is both the material cause and the efficient cause. I'll just maybe read one or two shlokas and then open up the platform. Yadasya nabhyannalinaat aham asam mahatmanah navidam yajna sambharan purushavayavan rute. When I was born from the abdominal lotus flower of the Lord Mahavishnu, the great person, I had no ingredients for sacrificial performances except the bodily limbs of the great personality of Godhead. तेषु यज्ञस्य पशवः सवनस्पतयः कुशाः idam च देवयजनं कालश्चोरुगुणान्वितः. For performing sacrificial ceremonies, one requires sacrificial ingredients such as flowers, leaves, and straw, along with the sacrificial altar and a suitable time. And next, I'll just read the translation. Other requirements are utensils, grains, clarified butter, honey, gold, earth, water, the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, and Samaveda, and 4 priests to perform the sacrifice. Other necessities include invoking the different names of the demigods by specific hymns and vows of recompense in accordance with the particular scripture for specific purposes and by specific processes. So, like that, he'll continue up till the 30th verse. So, Maharaj, what is this material cause and efficient cause, Upadana Karana and Nimitta Karana?
First verse of Bhagavatam talks about it, that is Jadma Tyasyatonvaya Artheshu Avigdhaswarat. For any creation, you require 3 things behind it.
Okay.
Like you want to make a pot, you are a potter.
Mm-hmm.
So who are all involved in making a pot? The potter himself,
right,
the wheel, and the mud.
Mm-hmm.
So the potter is known as Mula Karana. Mula Karana means he is the ultimate cause. That is, Krishna is ultimate cause.
Mm-hmm.
And like the potter. Now the mud is known as Upadana Karana. That is the Karana, which Upadana, that means the pot is made up of mud.
Mm-hmm.
So Prakriti becomes Upadana Karana, which is energy of Krishna.
Okay.
Now the wheel is time.
Mm.
That is why Anvayad Itarataha Cha, 3 words are there.
Mm.
Anvaya, directly you are the cause, and you are indirectly also the cause. Cha means time, which is known as Nimitta. So without the wheel, you cannot make the pot.
Mm.
So in the same way, the Lord himself is direct cause, that is the remote cause, you may say.
Okay.
Number 2 is Nimitta Karana, Upadana Karana. He is the material nature too, because material nature is his energy. And time is also his energy.
Mm.
So since time is his energy, is not different from time. And material nature is his Krishna's energy. That is why it's not different from the material nature.
Mm-hmm.
In this way, the Lord is all the 3 causes: the remote cause, the Upadana Karana, and ultimately the Nimitta Karana, efficient cause.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, if everything the Lord is doing, He is the cause of all causes, then what is the role of Brahma here in creation?
That's what he's saying.
Mm.
When he say, I did not see anything else other than the avayavas of the Lord. See, na avidham yajna sambhrama purushas avyayam rite. So I wanted to do yajna, means creation. So at that time, I needed some ingredients. What was the ingredients? The limbs of the Lord were the ingredients to create this world. Then that means this world is the Lord's limbs. I mean, Lord himself. So this is what Brahma is doing. And then Brahma also says, when I wanted to create, I did not have the knowledge to create. The knowledge is given by Krishna. The creation is done, the ingredients are Krishna. So everything is actually Krishna. And Brahma is only a nimitta. Nimitta matram bhava savisachin. So that is when you understand your nimitta, that means you have forgotten or you have foregone your false ego. That becomes your qualification to come back to God. As long as you think I am the doer, then ahankarano atma kartamiti manyate. So it becomes, it's ahankara. When you think I am the doer, the actual doer is ultimately Krishna. I am only a desirer, that's all.
Okay. So, what is the importance of sharing one's own realization? Like here in Brahma's case, he could have theoretically also he stated that Lord is the cause of all causes, but however, he gives his own realization. Even I needed ingredients and I got it from the Lord, and Krishna gave me the intelligence. So, in our own preaching efforts, when we are sharing with others also, what is the role of theoretical knowledge that we give and the realized knowledge that we give?
Always personal examples can be related. People can relate to that because you are speaking and they would like your experiences. And speaking your experiences will also give conviction, because when you speak out of realization, that gives conviction. So that's why realizations are always very good. You speak from your realization, that's always good.
Okay. And then Lord Brahma goes on to summarize his answers to Narada's questions. So, following the same thing, Maharaj, if you can also kind of give us the gist, because Narad Muni asked about what is Yad Rupam, Yad Adhishthanam, Yat Srishtam, Yat Samstam, Yat Param, Yat Cha, like this. He asked a whole bunch of questions and now Brahma has answered them. So, what is the essence that we can take away from this conversation?
So the first essence is that is Amritam Khema Abhayam Trimurtho Dhyayati Murthashu. He speaks about the spiritual world, the eternal nature of the spiritual world. And he also speaks about that how the whole world is nothing but Krishna's energy. Since it is Krishna's energy, then everything is resting on Krishna's energy. So a few questions, it is 3 questions asked by Narada in the previous chapter, are answered by Brahma by speaking about this Purusha Sukta, which talks about that how this world is non-different from Krishna. At the same time, it is depending on Krishna. All these things are said.
Okay. So now Brahma also gives some very nice shlokas he quotes as to why his words must be believed. So this 34th shloka I'll try to chant. Na bharati mengam rushopalashyate na vai kvachidme manaso mrusha gatihi na me hrishikani patantya satpate yanme hrudau kantyavata dhruto harihi. O Narada, because I have caught hold of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari with great zeal, whatever I say has never proved to have been false, nor is the progress of my mind ever deterred, nor are my senses ever degraded by temporary attachment to matter. So, Maharaj, what is this potency that Brahma has that he's saying, because I have caught hold of the lotus feet of the Lord with great zeal, he's saying his words, his mind, his senses are never degraded. So, whatever he says is true.
Yes. The question is that you are talking about those in the spiritual world, they are beyond the gunas. And those who are in the material world within the gunas, that is not false. And also you said that external energy is very much feeling shy and then standing behind the Lord. So now how can I understand that what you are saying is truth or not. That is the question. Then Brahma says, yes, whatever I have spoken to you is not false. My Bharati means words. Why? My words are not false. And Mrishopalakshate navai kvachin me manaso mrishagati. Neither my words are false, nor my mind, my thoughts are false. And not only that, name rishikeshani patante satpate, nor my senses go to the false path. What is the reason for it? The reason is yanme hridaut kanthayat tvat dito harihi. Because I have Krishna, Hari in my mind. In this way, my words, my senses, my body, and my mind, all three are not false. Because it is Krishna who is making me speak, it is Krishna who is making me do, it is Krishna who is making me think. In this way, whatever I have spoken, whatever I think, and whatever I do, that is perfect. So please don't get bewildered by other thoughts, that is, other thoughts of Mayavad, where there can be Mayavad interpretations of Vedic literatures. So what is my opinion? That should be accepted as perfect, because it is not spoken by me, it is spoken by Krishna.
Okay. And towards the end of this chapter, chapter number 6, Brahma again draws the focus back to Karanodakshaya Vishnu. So Maharaj, if you can, you've mentioned this many times to us, but again, if you can just tell us about the cosmic hierarchy of the three Purushavataras briefly.
Yeah, it is very simple. Karanodakshaya Vishnu is the Paramatma for all the universes. That means from his sweat pores, millions of universes are coming. And then he enters into each and every universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And then he sweats and fills Brahmanda with half of his water and he sleeps there. He is a Paramatma for one Brahmanda, one universe. And after creating the universe, all the 14 planetary systems, Krishna enters into each and every universe as Kshirodaksha Vishnu. So, and everybody's heart, there is Paramatma, he is known as Kshiravadakasai Vishnu. So then he becomes the Paramatma for individual soul. That's how you should understand.
Very succinctly put. So in the last shloka, that is 46th of chapter, 46th verse of chapter number 6, O Narada, now I shall state one after another the transcendental incarnations of the Lord known as Leela Avataras. Hearing of their activities counteracts all foul matters accumulated in the year. These pastimes are pleasing to hear and are to be relished. Therefore, they are in my heart. So now in the next chapter, Maharaj, we see that Lord Brahma is going to talk about many Leela Avataras. He's going to list about 25 of them to be specific. So why is this chapter called scheduled incarnation? So is there like an exact time when each of these avatars come?
Yeah, they come at least once in a day of Brahma. That's why it's called scheduled incarnations. That means these incarnations are already mentioned in the scriptures. That's the reason it's called scheduled incarnations. Anyhow, you don't have to pay much attention to this particular word of scheduled. Incarnations are incarnations. Of course, there are so many incarnations which are not mentioned in the scriptures also. It's unlimited. Lord is unlimited. Avatara asankhe.
So is there like a chronological or thematic or any other structure based on which Brahma is, like you said, there are unlimited Leela Avataras, so many incarnations, but he's specifically quoting 25 of them.
He is just quoting whatever comes to his mind. There is no chronology in that. Of course, chronology is not such an important thing in the Vedic system because our time is circular. The idea of time is circular. The idea of time is not linear. It is linear, then you have past, present, and future. But when something is circular, Satya Treta Dwapar Kali, Satya Treta Dwapar Kali, then the measurement of time is circular. So There's no point in saying past, present, and future there. Because anything can be past, anything can be future.
Okay, and he also mentions from shlokas 40 to 46 about how it's easier to count the number of atoms rather than count the number of incarnations of the Lord, that even Anantashesha cannot describe them. And the very important point he's saying, we cannot understand the Lord without the Lord's mercy, but devotees can understand by their surrender and Lord's mercy. If you can please elaborate on this, how we can understand the Lord by Lord's mercy.
Krishna himself, he says that Brahma also experienced that. That Leshano grihita evahi janati tattvam bhagan mahimno. We are part and parcels, and Lord is unlimited. How can the unlimited Lord be totally understood by the tiny living entity? Upanishads also say that I am Atma Pravashan Labhya Namedashana Bhuna Prushtena Yameva Shunate Tena Labhya. So God is known only by the person whom he chooses. Reveal only to that person. So even though the Lord wants to reveal everything to a person, a devotee, the Lord himself, Krishna doesn't know himself. Because there is a constant expansion of Krishna's energies, eternally expanding. The moment Krishna comes to know, I am so great, the greatness increases. The moment Krishna says, I am so beautiful, then the beauty increases. The moment Krishna comes to know, I am so sweet, immediately sweetness increases. So even Krishna himself is amazed by his own sweetness, his beauty. Once he was in Dwaraka, and he saw a column, it was filled with jewels, studded with jewels, and when he saw his own reflection, oh, who is he? He got very attracted. He wanted to go and embrace. Then he saw that form and told, oh, I'm very attracted to that form. In the same way that Radhika would get attracted to me. So he doesn't know that it is him only, it's reflection, but it's him, it's reflection. So that is why about knowing, the Upanishads say that Yasya matam amatam yasya matam amatam matam. One who says I know, he doesn't know. One who says I don't know, he knows. So the knowledge about the Lord means to know that you cannot know. That's the knowledge.
Beautiful, very nice. And then Maharaj, I want to know from you, why in shlokas 47 to 49, Brahma comes to the point of again expressing the superiority of Bhagavan as compared to Paramatma and Brahman. So I'll read the translation of 47th verse, chapter number 7. What is realized as the absolute Brahman is full of unlimited bliss without grief. That is certainly the ultimate phase of the supreme enjoyer, the personality of Godhead. He is eternally void of all disturbances and fearless. He is complete consciousness as opposed to matter, uncontaminated and without distinctions. He is the principal primeval cause of all causes and effects, in whom there is no sacrifice for fruitive activities and in whom the illusory energy does not stand. So I'll just read the next word. So in such a transcendental state, there is no need of artificial control of the mind, mental speculation, or meditation as performed by the jnanis and yogis. One gives up such processes as the heavenly king Indra forgoes the trouble to dig a well. 49th was, the personality of Godhead is the supreme master of everything auspicious because the results of whatever actions are performed by the living being in either the material or spiritual existence are awarded by the Lord. As such, he is the ultimate benefactor. Every individual living entity is unborn, and therefore, even after the annihilation of the material elementary body, the living entity exists exactly like the air within the body. So, why is he talking about the supremacy of Bhagavan as compared to Paramatma and Brahman?
Because some may get confused about what about Brahman and Paramatma? Because there is a philosophy called Mayavad which says that when the Bhagavan comes in the different forms as avatars, they are all Maya Virachitam. They are all born out of Maya, but the superior is Brahman. Brahman is superior to all the forms of the Lord because Brahman is beyond Maya And when Maya is afflicting Brahman by this Vidya potency, that becomes Ishvara, like Rama, Narasimha, Vamana, etc. So some people have this idea. So here Brahma has spoken about all these incarnations. And somebody may say, oh yes, very nice, wonderful, it's all in mode of goodness. They are Saguna Brahman. When Brahman is affected by gunas, then these forms are taken. So to refute that idea, he says that Bhagavan is superior to Paramatma, Paramatma is superior to Brahman, though all three are one and the same.
Nice, very nice. So Maharaj, now we will move on to the second segment, that is Vichara Mantana. And the Vichara that I would like to do Mantana of today is, I'm really intrigued by Brahma's mood, his role, his realizations, his limitations, his surrender, and the honesty with which he presents this whole subject matter to Narada. So I'll just ask a few questions related to the character, the personality of Brahma, Maharaj. So generally we say Brahma is the head of this universe, and now we know that even that head is bowing down in humility to the Supreme Lord Krishna. So I would like to focus on the humility of Lord Brahma. So Brahma is the topmost engineer of the universe, but yet he is completely free from ego in claiming credit. Nowhere through this conversation he is claiming credit for creation. He's always passing on and he's talking about his dependence on the Lord. So how do we understand this seeming paradox? There is immense power that Brahma has, but at the same time he has zero pride. So how can we also develop such kind of humility?
Humility is developed by associating with those who are humble, because they inspire us to be humble. So when you find, like you told, in spite of Brahma being so great, he's so humble, in front of Brahma, who am I?
Right.
So then definitely I should be humble. So by hearing about bhaktas, naturally humility is manifest in your heart. When you hear about Bhagavan, also greatness, when you hear about somebody's greatness, you become humble. Like, for example, somebody who is having a very expensive car. For example, he has a new Kia car, and it becomes so, I got this, then it shows everybody, and you say, oh, wonderful, he's so. And all of a sudden, his friend comes in a Mercedes, gets down from Mercedes, and then he gets down, he pays obeisances, and he starts glorifying all the friends there. Then this person was feeling so proud about having this car, Maruti car or some car. Then when such a big person, when he is so humble, who am I? So he'll also become humble. So all the reversals which happen in our life is actually meant to make us humble. The whole world is designed in such a way that you become humble.
Beautiful. Very nice. So, Maharaj, the next thing, we see a striking contrast between the materialists acting as competitors of the Lord, whereas the spiritualists, the devotees, are as humble servants of the Lord. So, what does it mean to be a competitor of the Lord versus being servant of the Lord?
The difference is between failure and success. That is the difference. So if you want to become a competitor, you'll be failure. You cannot. Okay, Lord is the creator of the entire world. Okay, create one piece of grass and show me. One piece of grass, not the plastic one, just the real one. Sure. You cannot. Okay, forget about all these things. Can you bring a dead man back to life? No, you cannot. So there's so many things. You want to control space, but what about this? Your own mind, have you controlled it? No.
Hard hitting.
Yeah.
Nice.
So on the other hand, the success is in being servant to the Lord, because that is what you are. Success is in being what you are. And you are servant of Krishna. Jiva Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. And that is success.
Okay. Okay. So, Maharaj, in your recent course on Madhurya Kadambini, you're very nicely taking us through the stages of bhakti. So, where exactly, which stage is Lord Brahma in? Is he like completely realized? Is it like bhava? What? Because the way he is explaining, it doesn't seem like just a technical description. There seems to be a lot of emotion, gratitude towards the Lord, the way he glorifies.
To the extent you're humble, to the extent you have prema. As simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
So Brahma, he is at the level of prema.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, Brahma, he gets a realization of Krishna prema, of Raja, in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately here, Brahma is at the level of prema because he is humble.
Mm. So after his time, he goes back home, back to Godhead?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Oh.
By the will of the Lord, he is serving the Lord in this capacity.
So also, Maharaj, from Brahma, we see it seems like a huge responsibility. I mean, to create the universe and that to start off every day, he has to create and all that. But more than that, it seems like it's not just a mechanical act of creating the universe, but it seems like an act of spiritual devotion he expresses towards the Lord. So, what can we learn from this? The podcast that we are doing, or the projects we are running, or the companies that we are running, whatever we are doing, how can that not be just a mechanical act, but as a loving offering to the Supreme Lord?
When you know that you are doing for Krishna, and Krishna is getting done through you, both. He's getting done through me. Krishna mere dwara kara rahe hai, in the sense that Krishna is getting this done through me. I'm just an instrument. It's my fortune for being an instrument of Krishna. So understanding I'm just an instrument in the hand of Krishna. That is love. And at the same time, a satisfaction that you have done something for Krishna. Though he has done, but the satisfaction is that I have done for Krishna. That's all.
And does Brahma feel empathy for the jivas who are entering the material world?
Yeah, definitely. He's an acharya. Anybody who has spiritual realization, the bliss what they experience, and they see when the other people are not having it and suffering because of it, actually they'll be there, maybe empathy. And that is why they do something. That is why creation happens. Whole creation, every aspect in this world has been created so that we become Krishna conscious.
And on Brahma's subject, last question, Maharaj. So Brahma is the speaker here who is answering Narada Muni's question so wonderfully. So he establishes his credibility as the speaker by sharing his realizations and all that. So how can we also become credible speakers? We're not simply speaking, but we do have some credibility.
The credibility comes, first step of credibility is you speak what has already been spoken.
Okay.
By doing so, repeating Atyaktyana when you do adhitan, means again and again, then realization comes and that becomes more and more perfect. So don't think of anything else, whether realization is there or not, it will come. Like for example, if you think of, oh, I should grow. No, do things for your growth. Then it will grow. Keep your body healthy, then it will grow. Growth is a natural byproduct of good health. So if you maintain good health in Krishna consciousness, growth is there. Like what you have to do to grow a plant? You have to take the seed and pull the plant like that. No. You just have to pour water, make sure that they are not infected by any insects, and automatically grows. Growth is a natural product of health. The child is there, baby is there. Now the mother thinks, I want to grow the child. You pulling the child will help or what? No. Just nourish the child, growth will happen. Growth is but natural. Don't think of the growth. You think of what to do for the growth. Take care of the growth. Good health. Good spiritual health, then growth is natural.
Fantastic. Okay. So Maharaj, for our next segment, that is Anushilanam, practical application, as part of this Brahma Narada Samvada, we now focused on Brahma. Now we'll shift our focus to Narad Muni. So we'll see what we can learn. Of course, there is unlimited things we can learn, but a few questions related to that. So my first question is, in last session, you said it's not that Narad Muni does not know that he is asking all these questions, but it is to enlighten us. He's playing that role and asking the questions. So, how can we also cultivate the spirit of genuine curiosity in spiritual life, wanting to know?
Wanting to know is one step. Other is wanting to relish is other step.
Beautiful.
So Narada is not just wanting to know, he wants to relish. So that is why you ask the same questions again and again. Even though you ask the same question, the answer is also the same, but still there is a variety in it. Because Krishna consciousness, the subject matter is very Nava Yavana. It is always newer and newer. So they experience that newer and newer things. That is it. Like Prabhupada gives example of an young boy and he falls in love with a young girl. They both go on talking the same thing again and again, but still they don't want to give up their phone. They just go on talking. What is there, bhai? When a person who doesn't know what's happening, they say, what crap are you doing? It's just crazy. All hours and hours you talk. Wow. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The same way when you love with Krishna, hours and hours you go. The same question again, same answer again. So when one, I just asked, hey, one boy who was in love with an girl. Why your parents are complaining you're on the phone talking so much? What do you talk? Then it was the same thing again and again. Same thing again and again. They say all the same thing again and again. But there is newness in that. When since stupid so-called infatuation in this world can create such a attachment to hear the same thing, ask the same thing. Just imagine this love, eternal love with Krishna. Naturally, there will be a desire to hear and relish. And for that, questions are asked. So what is to be learned from Narada is to not inquire to know, but to inquire to relish.
Beautiful. Nice. Very nice. Along the same lines, Maharaj, he's not just asking some casual or speculative questions. He's asking about creative energies. Yes, those are deeper questions. So how can we also learn this art of asking meaningful, deeper questions when we ask from sadhus?
So when you have a desire to relish, Paramatma will inspire to put the questions in a proper way. It is not that I ask questions. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inspired 3 people for 3 things. He inspired Rupa Goswami to hear and understand. He inspired Sanatana Goswami to ask questions. He inspired Ramananda Rai to speak. What does it mean? It is by the inspiration of Krishna we can do asking questions, we can hear and understand. And we can speak. All these 3 things can happen. Hearing and understanding, asking questions, and speaking. It is all because of the inspiration of Krishna. It's not springing out from the intellectual platform. It is Hriday.
Yes. Brilliant explanation. Yeah. So Narada is asking Brahma because he recognizes the authority and spiritual standing of Brahma. So how can we also practically strengthen our own faith in Guru Parampara and Shastra, just like Narad Muni has?
See, faith is a byproduct of service to sadhu.
Okay.
Shushrusho Shaddhanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi. That is Mahat Kripa, Mahat Seva, Shraddha. Shraddha comes because Mahat Seva. So when you work hard for Krishna, work hard on the instructions of spiritual master, and that will give rise to Shraddha. And 100% Shraddha means prema. So this comes, Ruchi comes, Shushrusho Shaddhanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi. Shushrusha means humbly hearing and serving. That's called Shushrusha. Then the faith manifests.
Okay. Last question related to Narad Muni Maharaj. So Narad Muni, first he is hearing submissively and deeply, but he doesn't stop at that. He's traveling all the 14 worlds, spreading this message of Bhagavatam. So I'm sure you can relate to this better. You are traveling all across the country, all across the world, spreading Krishna Katha, and Narad Muni is traveling all across 14 worlds. So how can we also, on one hand, we are submissively hearing and learning, but at the same time, we also take it another step in giving it to others?
You give what you get. Simple.
Mhm.
You hear something, speak it out. If nobody is there, just speak it out, like a madman.
Okay.
Yeah, like a madman, he just goes on speaking, goes on speaking. These days, after this earphones and what do you call blue chip things have,
Yeah.
Bluetooth things have come.
Mhm.
You find somebody walking in the road and then talking loudly, alone. Mobile is in their pocket. Then you think, why? What's happened? You got mad or what? Of course, they're talking on the phone.
Yes.
In the same way, you are in conversation with Krishna, and you think there are so many people, and then go on speaking.
Mm.
Hey, don't be afraid of being mad and being called mad.
Mm.
Just go on speaking about Krishna. Naturally, people will call you mad and they like you.
Mm.
Because now since you are a mad person, they love you. Oh, you are a mad person, chalo. There's no harm from you.
Mm.
So they don't see anything with apprehensions.
Mm.
So no problem. Just go on speaking about Krishna. What does it matter?
Mm.
The whole world will like. So that is whatever you learn, speak. You know one shloka, tell one shloka. You heard something, tell that. Go on telling.
Mm.
Because when you speak, the impression on your consciousness is very strong.
Mm. Mm.
When you hear, it is strong, but more stronger is when you speak.
Mm.
That is why you have to speak. Whatever you know, just speak it out.
Mm.
Yesterday, I advised one brahmachari, told, oh, you are not successful preaching. I told, forget about whether you are successful in preaching or not. You do one thing. Now, you make a YouTube channel and just go on speaking.
Good idea. Yeah.
Don't do one thing. Don't look at the views, that's all. Okay, you go on speaking. That's all. So ultimately, you attend Krishna by Shravan Kirtan. You want to have a desire to preach, well and good. Okay, online, do it. No problem. But at least you are engaged in hearing and in speaking. For example, if this podcast had not been there, you have not studied the Bhagavatam the way you're doing that.
Exactly. Oh my God. Definitely.
So that's the success of life.
Yeah.
Some people watch, some doesn't watch. That is their karma. That is their bhakti.
Yeah.
So fine. So definitely, I would have given classes, but on Bhagavatam, Bhakti vibe. But this kind of conversation where people can relate to, that would have not happened if this would have not happened. And I would have not thought answering the questions like this. So this is the success. That's what Narada does. Narada is not bothered about who is hearing, who is not hearing. He goes on saying Narayana, Narayana. He goes on doing that where he is traveling. So that's Narada. Adapatram means in the sense that being completely callous, completely neglectful of what the world is thinking about. Giving up all kinds of obligations. Narada traveled around. The verse Naman Anantasya, the verse number, what is that? First Canto, 5th chapter. Naman Anantasya, that verse is there.
I'll try to do
Atapatram.
What is the starting?
Naman Anantasya. 26, 626, 1626. Namanantasya hata trapta patam guhyani vadrani kritani jasparam gam paritan tushtamana gataspriha kalam pratiksham vimado vimatsara. Very interesting point is kalam pratiksham, waiting for death. Narada, how did he continue his life? He said, I start chanting the names of the Lord, and the glory is of fame, the glory is of the Lord, go on reciting. and ignoring the formalities of this world.
Mm.
That is the meaning of the word
Beautiful.
atatraptaha.
Mm.
Atatraptaha, being free from the formalities of the world. Oh, what will people think if I don't go to the wedding? What will people think if I always chant the names of the Lord? If I say Hare Krishna, what people think? No. That is called Hata Trapta Patam. Tuhyani Badrani Kritani Smaran Gam Paryatam Tushtamana. Some people go to different places and then to some people sit in one place, go to different place by Zoom. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And Gam Paritan Tushtamanaha. Tushtamanaha, totally satisfied. Gataspriyaha means giving up all kinds of little desires of name, fame, glory, everything. Kalam Pratiksham, waiting for death. Oh, when it is going to come? When Krishna, when are you going to take me fast soon? Vimadaha, without being proud or without being mad for anything in this world. Vivatsaraha means non-envious. That's what you learn from Narada.
What a brilliant answer. I'll definitely clip this also and make it like a short also. Very, very nice answer. Super practical. So, Mara, just one more question. Your answer kind of triggered this. So, in Bhagavad Gita, towards the end in 18th chapter, Krishna said, people who don't have faith don't preach. Only for those who have faith give. But of course, devotees are non-discriminative, they do. So, Narad Muni has this wide spectrum. He does not see whether it's a Mrugari or Vyasa Maharshi or anybody, an unborn child, Prahlada, or anybody he's giving. And in the recent course also, you also mentioned, we are not qualified to see the qualification of others. Go on giving. So if you can just say something related to this.
You are giving on behalf of the spiritual master because it's the order of Srila Prabhupada and order of Krishna Thakur and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Amaragni Guru hai tare desh. So you just go on giving. Whether it takes, well and good. Doesn't take also well and good. At least you are giving. At least you are speaking. You are purified. So we preach because for our purification, not to deliver others. Deliverance of others is done by Srila Prabhupada, all the great acharyas. We just are only, we do this preaching as a service to Guru and for our purification. Actually, we are not preaching, we are just serving Guru because he has told that is why we are doing that. That's all.
Very nice, Maharaj. So, Maharaj, the last segment now, Brahmastra. So, throughout.
Before we go to that, because I just wanted to say, the conclusion of entire Brahmanara Samvad is in the last verse of the 7th chapter. Okay. Yatha Haror Bhagavati, last verse of the 7th chapter. Mayam Varnayato Mushya Ishwarasyanuditaha Shrunvataha Shraddhya Nityam Maya Atmana Muhyati. So it's a very most important verse, the entire thing. So hearing and chanting the pastimes are fine of the Lord. Then the question arises, why is it that you are talking about creation pastimes of the Lord? Purushavatara with Maya Shakti. That is the question. It's so sweet, Krishna dancing with the gopis, Krishna lifting Govardhan. Why don't you just speak about it? Why are you bothering with all this Mahat Tattva and Tat Tattva and this Tattva and Karana creation and Nimitta and Upadana Karana? Yeah, all these things are what is like physics, chemistry. Just talk about some romance. Krishna has such pain. Why do you want to break our heads with this thing? Yeah, that's the reason. Because Maya Neto Mushya Ishwarasya Anuvaditaha Shrunvataha Shraddhya Nityam Maya Atmana Muhyati. To get rid of Maya, you should hear about Maya.
Wow.
How? Ishwarasya Anuvaditaha. Maya in relationship with Krishna, when you hear about that. Or Krishna, how he does pastimes with Maya, then the Maya which is there in your consciousness, that will go away. Thorn removes thorn. Poison removes poison. Diamond cuts diamond. Your thorn is going stuck up in your foot. And you're crying, oh, it's paining. Oh, what do you want? Oh, I'll bring you a glass of juice. Are Prabhu, keep the juice later. I want another thorn. No, you're suffering because of that. I thought, let me give a mango juice to you. When the thorn is stuck up, the mango is not tasty. What you require is a thorn, not the mango juice. Yeah, keep the mango juice. We want that, but keep it. But what I want is a thorn. You take the thorn and remove the thorn. Then do mango juice. So Krishna's pastime with with the Chit Shakti is like the mango juice.
Mm.
That can only be relished when there is no thorn stuck up. So that doesn't mean that you don't drink the mango juice. You go on drinking it because that gives you some hope
Mm.
of relishing the mango juice. At the same time, you require the thorn to remove the thorn. If the thorn is still stuck up there, if you just go on drinking the mango juice, in spite of being sweet, you will not experience sweetness. That's why Brahma Narada Samvad concludes with this statement of Shrinvataha, here Shraddhaya Nityam, great Shraddha, Nitya, constantly. Then Maya Atmanam Hati, you're not disturbed by Maya.
Brilliant, Maharaj. Very nice. So, Maharaj, the final segment, which is Brahmastra. So, throughout, we are seeing that Arjuna asked questions to Krishna, Suta Goswami was asked by Shaunaka Rishi, Parikshit is asking Sukadeva Goswami, Narad Muni is asking Brahma. So, we thought, why not you also get an opportunity to ask questions? So, in this Brahmastra segment, which is themed, ask a question, just one question. So, and who will you get asked? Who will you question to? So, I'm going to give you a few characters from Bhagavatam. I should not call them characters, personalities from Bhagavatam, but they are little less known. They are not widely talked about. So, I will name these personalities so you can ask them any one question. So, first one, Maharaj, Kala.
When are you going to come?
Oh.
Kalam Pratiksham.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm blown away. Okay. Next one. King Vena.
How come you got such a son?
Oh. Prithu Maharaj. Very nice. So, since you talked about how come you got such a nice son, let's talk about Prithu Maharaj's wife, Queen Archi.
How did you cooperate with your husband, who is a king? Please tell all the ladies.
Brilliant. Okay. The next one is the deer, the Bharata who became a deer. So, in his deer form, what will you ask?
Oh, my dear. Oh, my dear. You have to address like that only.
Yes.
Oh, my dear.
Wow. Okay.
Please save me so that nobody else become dear to me as dear as Krishna.
Oh my God. Okay. You turned into a poet for this one. The next one, Chavana Muni.
Who?
Chavana Muni.
Oh. Yeah, you hope I'll ask him. You have set the best example for how to be a wife. Means you give the opportunity for her to set an example of how to be a wife, a good wife. But you tell something by which people don't follow your footsteps as husbands.
Interesting question. Okay. The next one, Pingala.
Pingala. How can I get the essence from what I'm doing? She got the essence. Essence seeker. In spite of being so sinful, she was the essence seeker. How can also do that? How can be the essence seeker in spite of I'm being so sinful.
Very nice, very nice. Muchukunda.
Muskunda, please give the upaya that I also get some sleep like you.
Oh, okay.
The moment I wake up, I can see Krishna.
Oh. Super. King Satyavrata.
So never catch fishes. It grows. You are a king, you could do.
Yes.
So, that's my question to him is, like, you could manage giving a bigger and bigger thing, but not everybody can do that. So how you can give some tips so that we can manage Krishna consciousness, which is growing like anything.
Oh. The fish is a symbolic representation of Krishna consciousness, is it, Maharaj?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
interesting. Okay. What would you ask the Yamadutas who came to take Ajamila?
Ask Yamadutas who came to take Ajamila. I would ask them to go that you after Jamila you went to Yamaraj and then heard. Since you have heard from Yamaraj, so now you understand that don't come to me. I chanted at least once I must have chanted.
Very smart. Very, very smart. Okay. Very smart. The next one, Avaduta Brahmana. That's what he's called, right? Avaduta Brahmana.
Yeah. Yeah, I would ask Avaduta Brahmana that I was very thankful to him that he has become an inspiration for me a lot. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted the words which he chanted.
Oh.
And then I'll ask him, let him be the inspiration for all the sannyasis.
Oh. Okay.
All those people who are going to take sannyas.
Oh.
I ask him to give the inspiration to everyone.
Jai. Which shloka is that, Maharaj? What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
Etan sasthaya paratmanishtha adhyasitam purvatay tamay mahadvir. Aham tarishyami durantaparam tamukundagri nishevayeva. Words. Chaitanya went on chanted after taking sannyas. Went on constantly chanting these words. The purpose of taking sannyas is to mukunda seva. Tamukundagri nishevayeva. Purpose of sannyas is not to give up, but is to accept mukunda seva. All the troubles which come, people take sannyas to give the troubles. But here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised that to take sannyas to take troubles in Krishna Seva.
11th canto, is it, Maharaj?
Yeah, 11th canto.
Okay. Last one, Maharaj. So much we've been discussing about Virat Rupa quite often. So if you could ask a question to Virat Rupa, what will you ask?
It's simple for devotees to understand. Ask, can you make it simple? Can you make it simple for devotees to understand you?
Thank you so much for asking on our behalf. Very nice. Wonderful. Excellent, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Definitely to confess, it's been quite somewhat of an austerity to actually go through these chapters and come up with the questions. But like you said, it's Paramatma who is helping and guiding. And but it's been worth every bit because I thoroughly relished these discussions. Now I'm looking forward to going back and reading them with a better understanding. So thank you for such fantastic answers. I thoroughly relished it. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Eternally indebted to you. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I hope that you not only listen to these conversations, but relish these conversations. And I hope you relish it as much as we have enjoyed engaging in these conversations. And if you have any questions as you go through these, if you have any questions, please reach out. So maybe I will leave the email link in the description. So you can email your questions and Maharaj will take up these questions in the upcoming episodes. Because I'm sure that as you read them, listen to them, you may have your own doubts. So if you do so, kindly send us an email and we will try our best to answer them. So thank you very much. We will catch you again next week, and don't go anywhere because we still have 3 more chapters in this particular canto, Canto 2. There is the Chatushloki Bhagavatam that is going to come, and then also the 10 subject matters, Atra Sarga, Visargascha, that particular shloka. So we are going to take a deep dive into all this and much more by inquiring from Maharaj. So we will catch you very soon. Until then, take care. As always, stay inquisitive and stay Krishna conscious. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.